One of the bravest things you could ever do is reinvent yourself, pivot, and start doing something totally different from what you're doing now. I know a lot of people start their entrepreneurship journey in exactly that way, and that was actually my story. But it is tough. It comes with a lot of hurdles that I wasn't even prepared for, and my own inner dialogue about why I wasn't ready, why I wasn't capable, almost stopped me from diving in and doing the things that I'm doing now. So today, I wanted to bring my girlfriend, pro golfer turned business boss, Christina Lecuyer, on the podcast to talk all about the power of reinventing yourself and why it is important for each of us to decide it is our turn. Welcome back to Powerhouse Women, the podcast, and I'm so excited to introduce you to today's guest, who has quickly become one of the most influential women in my life. So I couldn't wait to share her with all of you. Christina Lecuyer is not only a pro golfer, she is a 3-time reality TV competitor and hosting specialist in the field of golf, which we'll have her talk a lot more about. But what I love is she has done exactly what we are going to be talking about on today's conversation, which is she has consistently reinvented herself. So she is now also a life coach, a speaker. She has her own women's mastermind, and something that we will talk about at the end of today's interview, which is her upcoming Decide It's Your Turn Women's Mastermind weekend and live event. So Christina, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so excited.
We just got to hang out live and in person in Phoenix last weekend, and I already miss you, so it's great to see your face.
I know, I won't get to see you for like a month, but then I'll get to see you for 3 full days.
Exactly. So we're going to dive into all of the goods. But for those who don't know you and don't know your story, I would love if you would just start by sharing what has this journey been like for you, coming in through the sport of golf and then continuing to reinvent yourself at different points along the way, up to the point where now exactly what you're doing. So will you just take us back and paint a picture of what that journey has looked like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually originally from Canada. I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. And at the very late age, actually, I got into golf. I kind of grew up in a golfing family, but I got very good very fast within the golf industry. I kind of decided that I wanted to hang out with the guys after work because I worked in the golf industry and they were all playing golf after work. So I was like, well, I should probably learn how to do this pretty quickly. And I got really good really fast. And within 3 years, I got a full scholarship to go to university here in Arkansas, where I now currently live. I've been here 17 years. I came to school here in 2002 and played college golf here. I did very well in college. I kind of moved up the ranks really quickly. I won 5 times. I was an All-American. It was a great, amazing, awesome experience in college. After college, I decided I was going to turn professional, so to play professional golf. And I did so, and it wasn't really what I expected, to be honest with you. I kind of did it because that's what I was supposed to do. I had a lot of success. I was growing quickly, and playing pro golf was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. It was going to make me happy. I was going to be famous. I was going to make a ton of money. It was just going to be all the things. And after 3 years of playing professionally, it was not all the things. I checked all the boxes, but the total did not end up as happiness. And I was actually extremely unhappy playing pro golf because I tied my worth and value into life on how I was playing golf, how I was financially doing, how I was looking, all of those things. And it became a very steady decline in my happiness. And when I was about 27, 28, I decided I was no longer okay not being okay. And I had a very, like you mentioned, I was on a reality show a few times. And even though that reality show for me the very first time, it was called The Big Break on the Golf Channel. And It was a very, very big deal back in the day. It wasn't a great experience for me in the beginning. However, I got a lot of exposure from it, and I started being able to host corporate and charity golf events. So companies would hire me. They started off one time hiring me as a guest to come and hit a shot and raise a little bit of money for charity. And the first time I ever did it, my life literally changed. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I would love to be able to do this, but now I got to go back and play pro golf. And I was just kind of doing it at the time. They were like, I'll give you $500 for the day. And well, when I was playing pro golf, I was like, oh my God, I just won the lottery. So anyway, I decided that I was going to kind of figure out how to do these more often, because that's where I got a lot of life. I got a lot of, I just love human beings. I love human connection. And the fact that I was getting paid to raise money and connect with human beings on the golf course was an amazing experience for me. And so I started doing that, and I kind of created, you were talking about earlier how you wanted to discuss how I kind of transitioned, and I have transitioned numerous times within my life. But I transitioned really after about 2 years of doing this kind of as the part-time and still trying to play the pro golf. I figured out pretty quickly that I was much better at BSing with people on the golf course and raising a lot of money and having a lot of fun than I was to actually like grind it out day in and day out, travel the world, and not be good enough really to play at the highest level. So I transitioned into this corporate and charity golf career. I call it being a human connection specialist, because basically at the end of the day, my job was just to connect with people on the highest level and make them have the greatest day ever. My platform in doing so was just playing golf. And during this time, I really started diving into self-development as well. And I started really working on myself as well as working with high-level executives, raising a lot of money. And it's just a good marriage of the two. And people started to see the shift in me. They started to see the difference in my life, how I went from not really the best mindset, kind of like the woe is me, not really truly at all enjoying what I got to do, to living so abundantly because I was so thankful that I was able to do what I was doing, meet the people that I was meeting. And then women started reaching out to me. And during this time in the golf industry, I mean, 99.9% of my clients were men. But women started reaching out to me and saying, hey, how are you so confident in a man's world? How are you able to demand, 5 figures a day to hang out with people on the golf course? How is it that you're able to, enjoy this whole process and stay so positive? And I just started kind of mentoring people like one-on-one. And then sure enough, 3 or 4 years later now, I have a very big clientele of women. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, but my women's mastermind and now this live event that I'm doing in Austin, which I'm so unbelievably grateful that you're speaking. I'm so thankful that the universe, which I firmly believe in, just puts the people in your life that are supposed to be there. And you are one of those people for me. I met you last year, and I'm so grateful that you will be speaking at this event. And it's really important to me to be around high vibration women. That is my whole mission in life, is just for people to realize that living a life that they love is absolutely 100% in their control. And it is a choice, it is decision, and it is something that every single person can do. And I really, truly am blessed that I have the life that I have, and I love it.
Oh my goodness, so much just gold within that story. And I think that it's easy to look at someone's life on social media or follow the journey in the highlight reel of that journey and think, oh my goodness, she is amazing. I could never do that. But what I love about you is you have the same heart as we have at Powerhouse Women, which is you keep it real, like maybe more real than anyone I have ever met. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in continuing to reinvent yourself time after time?
You know what? I think a lot of it is definitely you, and I am not the only one in this. I definitely know that there's so many limited mindsets limiting factors that we all place upon ourselves. I feel like that is one of the biggest stories in which I hear all the time. And when I say story, I truly mean it as a story, because it's a story in which you tell yourself. And I'm very firm believer in that we have VHS tapes, what I call VHS tapes in our head. And it is our responsibility to change those, because we've all grown up, whether you had the most amazing upbringing ever or you had just a horrific upbringing, it doesn't really matter. We all have stories and we all have choices. And I believe if you want to change the VHS tape in your head, it is your responsibility to do so. And I really believe it's the people that you surround yourself with. It's your daily habits that you really truly invest in yourself on a consistent basis. And when you do those things, you get to vibrate. I call it vibrating at the highest level. And it's something that you do extremely well. And I believe that the universe puts people in your life that need to be in your life at a certain time. You know, I have an amazing community of women that support me and tell me, hey, yeah, that's really absolutely scary, but perfect. We're going to do it anyway. And you are a reigning star for this as well. I mean, you know how all of this happens. I mean, there's just so many things, even this podcast. Congratulations on doing the hard thing and doing the scary things. I think our limiting factors are all like just inside of ourselves. And I literally, truly believe if you can think of it, you can do it. You know, I've told you 100%, this live event is definitely one of the scariest things I've ever done. It is one of the most time-consuming things I've ever done. But at the end of the day, in my internal being, I have such amount of peace, even during the shitstorm, even during the crazy, even during the doubts. I have this internal peace that it is 100% what I need to do. And one thing that you did talk about, my authenticity, I'm very authentic. You know, I understand that not everyone has the desire to put their full lives out on social media. It's something that I do. I want you to see that, yeah, my life 65 to 75% of the time is awesome. It's great. I have nothing to complain about. But 25% of the time, there's a lot of crap there. And there is a lot of moments where I am like crying. I look like a disaster. I'm cussing like a sailor. I'm in a fight with someone. Like, it doesn't, whatever that looks like. And it is my choice to put that out there. But I also too, I never want anyone, I think like a great compliment. And I sometimes get like super confused when people are like, oh my God, you're the same person you are as in real life as you are online. I was like, yeah, that's who I am. And I think I get confused because I understand that there's a lot of fake people out there, and I understand that, but like, I truly don't follow those people. I don't like want to surround myself with those people. I really truly want to surround myself with the women and the people that make me feel like I can accomplish anything that I say I set out to do. And you are one of those people. Your powerhouse community, all of the women in that group. I mean, it is truly amazing what happens when you literally seek out and decide to find those people that vibrate on the highest level.
Amen, sister. And I think the more that we share the real side of what it looks like to be chasing after big ideas, and share how, you know, no matter how much growth you or I have gone through, as we're attacking the next thing, there is so much discomfort that comes along with that. And I always say, I thought I would probably get to some level where I felt like I knew what I was doing, or wouldn't feel that sense of like, oh no, like I'm going next level. But it actually, in my experience, the fear and the just the pressure that I put on myself gets bigger, the bigger the game I'm playing. And I think it's important for women to know that, you know, as we dive into this journey of consistently reinventing ourselves and raising the bar on our own limits, it still feels scary. And if you're feeling scared, that's usually an indication that you are going in the right direction and doing something that's worthy of your life. So I love that you've consistently modeled that for me, and I hope to do it for you. But I think it's important that women know, no matter what they see or think of someone like you on social media and your confidence, that you are always putting yourself in a position where you are going to the next level. And it's going to require you to grow into the woman who now can do those things that you envision.
I thank you so much for that. And you know, it's so true what you said. You know, one of my coaching clients just the other day, she's like, I think I got it all figured out. I've got it. And I literally sent her back, like I do that Voxer app, and I sent her back. I was like, that is amazing. Box that and sell it for $1 bazillion, because you've got to figure it out. You are the only one. You know, a friend of mine who you know as well, Jenna Scare, Doctor and Fit on social media. I remember she just gave me so much confidence 2 years ago. I said something to her and she messaged me back, and she literally said, because I said to her, I was like, I am the most nervous I've ever been in my whole entire life. I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I can't do this. I have no idea what I'm doing. It is like I am out in a sea where I have no idea where I'm going. And she literally messaged me back. And she is one of, she's got 600,000 followers. She has a multiple 7-figure business. Like, she's just rocking it, in my opinion, rocking it in life. And she sent me a message back and she said, welcome to the club. And I remember that specifically. She said, welcome to the club. You're now just a part of this whole messy, sloppy thing that we're all just trying to, enjoy the process, but also know too that like it never really gets comfortable. And if it is, chances are you're settling and you're not where you need to be going.
That is so good. And something I wish I would have learned earlier in life. I think it would have made it easier for me to step into these phases of reinvention, which I want to talk a little bit about, because for me, what it felt like was I could tell deep down that the path I was going on, whether it be from transitioning from corporate America to health and wellness, or from health and wellness to doing more work with women entrepreneurs, I just started to feel in my gut that the direction I was going was not the direction for me anymore. What has it felt like for you when you know you're at a point of reinvention? And have you been quick to listen to that? Or have you, like me, have you totally stalled and been even more uncomfortable because you're not doing what you know your soul is calling you to do?
That's something that when I transitioned out of golf, for me, one of the biggest things in life was my worth and value was tied to what I did, how much money I made, how I looked, where, like all of the stuff, right? All of the external. And it has been like, there's been probably 5 or 6 moments on social media where I literally feel like I have gone like blinders batshit, because I literally got on there and I just let every emotion out. And one of those came just probably 6 or 7 months ago, and it's actually in my highlights. It was like, I called it my worthy rant, because there's so many people that, and I'm talking high level people, I'm talking athletes, I'm talking moms, I'm talking all of the people that tie their worth and value to what they do, their job, like how they show up, how they look, how much money they make. And it is so scary sometimes. And I know women to this day, and men to this day, that are doing something that is so far out of alignment from what they should be doing, because they are deathly afraid to leave what they're doing, how they look, how much money they make, where they're showing up, all of those things, those external things, because they are so afraid that they are going to lose their worth and identity in what they do, have, look, be, see. And I was that for so many years. I told, like, even in my head, or just really to my husband, I said, I want to help other women so badly. I want to transition outside of the golf. I want to be able to work with a female audience. I want to do that. But for years, I told myself all of the stories, all of the lies that I couldn't do whatever it was that I truly knew in my heart and soul that I wanted to do. And if you are one of those people listening to this, and there's just one person that's listening to this that is so tied to what they do, how they look, how much money they make, where they're showing up, like all of the stuff, I am just here to tell you that if there's any inkling with inside of your soul that you are off from what it is that you truly know in your soul that you are put on this purpose to do, or put on this earth to do, I am telling you, just take one step. Just take one step, and I promise you, the universe will provide the most epic, amazing opportunities ever to actually go and chase those things. And your worth, I Lindsay knows that my hashtag, my clothes, my everything has hashtag worthy AF. And if you want to say awesome female, great. Or if you want to say what I call AF, go ahead. But I'm just telling you, your worth and value, you are worthy AF to absolutely live a life that you love and that you are put on this earth to do. And please just take one step to actually listen to that inner calling, and it will be the best decision you ever make.
I love that you highlighted the power of taking that one step, because one of the things that stopped me from diving into what I knew was calling me to pursue it was I didn't have the whole plan yet. I had, in one sense, like you talked about, the identity wrapped up in something I was good at, but felt pulled in another direction that had no clear-cut path. So such a powerful tip to take that first step that you see to take and trust that the rest of the path, or steps 2 and 3, will be revealed once you get moving. But I know so many women who, like me, want to have the perfect plan and have that certainty that this is all going to work out. But in my experience, we don't often get the certainty until we start getting our butt in gear, until we start moving toward it.
I love it. I heard the analogy a little while ago, and it was a perfect way to explain it. But it was something along the lines of, like, if you're starting in New York and you want to go to LA, you kind of know where you want to go, but you don't really know like where you're going to get there. You just know that like that's kind of where you want to go, or you want to leave New York. And sometimes that's all you need to know. And like everything else will kind of fall into place. And I think so many people get stopped by, okay, I want to, especially with a career. They're like, I want to leave this career to do this career, but I don't know how I'll make money. I don't know how to do that. You have to do something. There were so many things that people have done that, like, even myself, like I started doing this probably about 3 years ago now, where I didn't think it would be a career, a job. I was still hustling my main job 100% of the time, but I was doing this because I truly had a passion for it. I loved it. I said in a speech, I was giving a speech the other day to some women, and I said, if you love to bake cupcakes, but you don't know how you'll get the bakery, the social media following, the new recipes, all of those things, I said, bake the effing cupcakes because it brings you joy, and then worry about everything else. But sometimes in this life, we get so caught up on, it has to fit in this perfect little box of why we do it and how we do it. That sometimes doesn't matter. Just take steps, take action, do something, because you're called to do it. If you're thinking about it, there's a way in which to do it.
Okay, you're getting me all fired up. I can't sit still in my chair right now. I just want to go do something. But I think that this is a perfect place to pivot a little bit and talk about the power of attending events. For me, when I knew, I just had that inkling that there was something more for me. I wasn't even clear on what it was yet. I dove into personal development. And that can mean a lot of different things. Listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, but I believe in the power of attending live events and putting yourself in the atmosphere, in the energy of other people who are making their dreams come true. And ironically enough, that is actually how you and I met. We met at a live event, a Mastermind weekend that you were speaking at, and I was a member of. And our friendship really has kind of been based around meeting each other in different places around the country that there are live events happening. So talk to me a little bit about the role that live events have played in your journey. And then, of course, I want to talk about your event.
That you're going to be speaking at, and then I'm coming to your event. But besides all that, like I would hate for someone to listen to this and be like, oh, they're just trying to sell their event. But guess what? I really am trying to sell a live event, because I am telling you, out of everything that I've ever done in my life, immersing myself with other humans vibrating at the highest level who are going to encourage you and keep you accountable is the best thing I've ever done. I am telling you, I don't care. You can do anything that you want, but there is nothing like getting yourself in the room with other people who are vibrating at the highest level, who are encouraging you, who are holding you accountable. I heard this one time that you can go to a whole entire weekend and there can be one person and one thing said, and that will shift your whole entire life. And I firmly believe that. Had I not gotten into a program years ago, made a connection with another person, invested in this other person, I would have never have been asked to speak at the event that you and I connected at. Every single thing is connected and is happening for a purpose and a reason. Even if it looks like the messiest, sloppiest mistake you've made, it's all happening for a purpose and a reason. And the hardest thing ever is getting in the room. I remember one of the first events I ever went to, I literally sat in the car for over an hour. I'd already spent like probably $2,000 buying the ticket last minute, buying the last minute flight, staying in a hotel by myself, renting the car, doing the stuff, right? I remember sitting in my car for like over an hour, eating in my car because I was so afraid to walk in that room, because I was afraid that everyone else in the room had it all together. Everyone else in the room deserved to be there. Everyone else in the room, and it was just an absolute story. And I know that I am not the only person. Just this past, 2 weeks ago when you and I were in California for Lori Harder's event, there was a girl told me she paid $300 for Lori's event is quite expensive, but she paid like $300 to come to the VIP party. She didn't even attend. She stayed in the room 3 floors up because she was so afraid to walk down. Guess what? We all have those same fears, but I promise you, if you get in the room, it will make the most dramatic difference in your life. And I know it's an investment and I know it's hard, but there is nothing else more impactful than getting in those rooms.
And for me, there have been times, especially early on, when the biggest breakthrough I got was just saying yes to myself and making that investment of the time, of the finances, in buying the ticket or buying the plane ticket and the hotel. Sometimes that was the breakthrough I was meant to have. And anything I get out of the event itself is just bonus. And I think that's important to know as well, that if you're feeling that nudge to attend something, doesn't even have to be one of the events that we're talking about, that it usually means there's something for you there. And your biggest breakthrough might come on the other side of saying, you know what, I am worth it. And I am going to do this for myself.
100%. I believe that wholeheartedly. I was just on another podcast earlier on today. Shayna, she said exactly the same thing. She said at the time that she did her very first mastermind, she invested in her very first mastermind. She said she literally did not have the money in order to do it, but she knew something called her inside that she had to do it. She bought the ticket and literally did the investments for about 4 months and figured out a way to pay for it along the way. You know, I know this sounds crazy for some people, but I promise you, when I made my first huge investment, $20,000 for like 90 days, I remember thinking I wanted to like jump off a bridge. I was so nervous. I thought, what are you doing, you crazy human being? I would have probably paid more for the amount because I invested so heavily. I did the work and I held myself accountable. And I showed up and I invested in myself, and I consistently invest in myself. I will always invest in myself. I'm headed to a mastermind just this weekend. I don't believe that I would be able to say wholeheartedly, come to my event, come to my mastermind, do my coaching, unless I had the coaches, went to the masterminds, did the things, because I have consistently got to level up. And you know this, you're consistently investing in yourself. When we invest in ourselves, we're able to invest in others. And at the end of the day, my whole entire mission is to invest in other human beings, for them to live and know that they are worthy to live a life that they absolutely love.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, if you're looking for a coach, to hire a coach, ask them who their coach is. Because there is no point that any of us have it all figured out. And the best coaches are also investing in coaches that are helping them up their game. And I know that's something you really believe in too.
Oh, wholeheartedly. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about Decide It's Your Turn, which is, I mean, first of all, is that not the best name for an event that you've ever heard? Just makes me want to stop and pause and say, okay, what am I deciding?
Oh, I know what you're deciding for. You actually sent me a video.
I sent you it in a video, which I said, it had me pause and say, gosh, what have I decided for myself this year? And it all came down to deciding to go full in to what I know I'm capable of in a few different ways. I was sharing on my Instagram story just yesterday how I've started to do the things that I keep thinking about, but was making excuses around, either out of fear or out of thinking that I didn't want to spend the money. All different excuses, it doesn't matter. But I started doing things like taking hip hop dance classes because I always thought that sounded fun. I actually love dance, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't making the time because I felt like I would look stupid. It's been years since I've done a dance class. And then yesterday I had my consult for LASIK eye surgery, something else I've wanted to do forever, and was like, it's expensive. I'm used to wearing glasses and contacts, but enough is enough. I told Elliot,
I'm so proud of you.
If the zombie apocalypse ever happens, you don't see those survivors taking out contacts at the end of the day. Like, I need to make sure that I am ready to go if that ever happens.
It's one of the best things I've ever done is the LASIK.
So I'm deciding all sorts of things, but really under this umbrella that I've had enough with thinking about things to death until I just never end up taking action on things that I really want to do, and that there's probably some kind of a breakthrough waiting for me. So the event hasn't even happened yet, and it's already impacting my life in a powerful way. So tell us a little bit about why you were inspired to create this women's mastermind weekend, and then what we can expect.
Oh my gosh. I just love the fact that you are just basically saying, I am diving all in, deciding, making the decisions, and quit overthinking things, because I think there's so much of that. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because it's all the things that I just said. I know wholeheartedly there's nothing else more impactful than getting in the room. And then after getting in the room, it's holding yourself accountable by doing more things that are holding yourself accountable, by showing up for yourself. But decide it's your turn. Whether it is your turn to start changing your mind, whether it's your turn to change, you're deciding to change careers, get in a relationship, get out of a relationship, lose the 10 pounds, gain the 10 pounds, whatever that looks like to you, this is what this weekend is for. And I promise you, there's going to be one speaker there. I have 8 amazing humans that are speaking, including yourself, who all have different messages that are either on mindset, motivation, business, strategy. If you're coming for life stuff, we've got that speaker for you. If you're coming for business stuff, we've got that speaker for you. We're doing panels. We're doing connections, connection group, connection lunches and dinners. We are doing fitness every day. I'm announcing this weekend. So if you go to decideitsyourturn.com, I'm announcing this weekend a celebrity trainer for our VIP workout and wine. I know that you love your wine Wednesdays, wine down Wednesdays on the Powerhouse group. So wine is definitely included on the VIP night, but I would absolutely adore all of you to come. Lindsay's going to be there. We have 8 speakers that are just going to be amazing. I have Dr. Fern Kasloff. I have Angie Lee. I have Rachel Luna. I have Jenna Scare, Doc Jen Fit. I have a couple of amazing humans who have spoken in my women's mastermind. I have one of my speakers in my mastermind, Erin Holbaum, who owns a store, multi-million-dollar franchise clothing store. I mean, just the women that are showing up in this community. If you have any desire to get in the room with women, even if you need to just find new friends, I think, with our mid-20s through our 50s, sometimes we are just like, oh my God, there's no one I really vibrate with anymore. I don't want to continue to talk about the same old stuff. You know what? I set boundaries in life, but I consistently make sure I'm showing up to things where I'm going to find the women who will hold me accountable, who will keep me leveled up, who will encourage me to do the dance classes when I never wanted to dance. Lindsay Schwartz, I'm so mad at you for doing that. But at the end of the day, I was shaking my butt. I think I may have thrown out a hip, but it's not something that I want to do. But at the end of the day, doing things that are like, surround yourself with women who are saying, no, you know what? You're going to do the dance class, even though it's like super awkward. It's something you'd never do. Let's go do that, because let's just do it. Like, level up, have fun. If you need a weekend away from your kids and you have never given yourself permission to actually take care of yourself, I don't need to give you permission, but if you need it, I'm giving you the permission. I believe wholeheartedly, unless you're taking care of yourself, you are never functioning at your highest level to take care of anyone else, whether that's your husband, your kids, your job, whatever. You've got to put you first, and then everyone else comes second after that, because I know that that sounds selfish, and that goes against everything that every typical person will ever tell you. But when you're your best, you are able to serve everyone else at their best.
So true. And I know we have a huge group of women coming from Phoenix.
I know.
We're starting to rally the troops. And I want you to really think about that, because whether or not you live in Austin, which if we didn't say so already, that is where this event is taking place. I actually get the most out of events where I have to leave my everyday life to attend them. So turn it into a girls' weekend, get a hotel room, pack it with your favorite women, or even better, plug into the Facebook community with other attendees and meet some new friends, especially if you are feeling that craving to connect with like-minded women and you don't feel like you have them in your current circle. Get really uncomfortable and make friends, come alone, and even share a room with other attendees. We will absolutely help you get connected in. And I always say, you're never walking into a room alone. If you are even just hearing my voice on this podcast, we've never met in person, you should know one thing about me. I am a hugger. I will invade your personal space. So you will be alone for about 0.5 seconds until I get my arms around you, and then we'll be friends. And you'll know someone in the room who can introduce you to others. So no excuses at all. You can come alone and you will make friends immediately, or even better, bring the women in your life who you really care about, because it's going to be an epic weekend and there will be a lot of FOMO for those who are not there with us.
And honestly, every word that you just said, I truly believe from the bottom of my soul. It is important for you to come by yourself if that's where you need to come. And it is important for you to drag along those who need it so desperately if they need to come. Get in the Facebook group. Send me a DM. I'm at B Christina, Christina, BECHRISTINA, or get with Lindsay. She knows all the details, or decideitsyourturn.com. I would love to be able to share with the Powerhouse community. Discount 50. That'll give you a discount to get to our event. It is one of the least expensive 3-day events that you'll see, but I also truly believe that when you have some skin in the game and you make an effort and there's a little bit of hardship to get there, you know, I get it. Getting away from your family, doing something, taking time off work, it is not an easy task. But I guarantee you, if you get in that room, just even buying the ticket and making the commitment, even without knowing how any of it's going to work, is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. And like Lindsay said, you know, sometimes when you have to have a little bit more skin in the game to get in the car and drive 12 hours or get on that Southwest flight, middle seat action, you know, or get in the Facebook group and meet those people and put yourself out there. You know, 2 people have sent me a message within the Facebook group. They've connected and they're already like doing business together. They're on each other's, you know, whatever it is, they're showing up for each other. And you know what? Some of my best friends, Lindsay included, don't live near me. I've met them in person like a handful of times. One of my best friends who supports me through thick and thin, we are completely different human beings. We met in a coaching group. She's based in Miami. I'm here. She's got like, I don't know, 67 kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom, all of this stuff. And I'm completely different than that. We are now, she can call me in the middle of the night and I will be on a plane and she would do the exact same thing for me. So it's one of those things that you never know who you're going to meet at these things. But the number one thing you have to do is decide it is your turn to do it for yourself.
I don't think we could end on a better note than that. Christina, thank you so much for being here. We will post all of the information for where to find the event and how to register in the show notes. And make sure to connect with Christina on social media, because she is as real as they come, and she shows up even more so on social media that way, which is super refreshing. So thanks, girl. I so appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you to all the Powerhouse women, and I'll see you in Austin and in Phoenix in September.
I can't wait.